look to bounce back this week, week 2, as they fell to the Arizona Cardinals in the last moments last weekend. But Spencer Rattler, it's all about turning the page as the black and gold face the 49ers in the Dome. Let's welcome Katherine, Terrell, a Saints reporter from ESPN, with a closer look on what we can expect. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
All right. So there's always another week, right? Here we go. Yeah. We're into the next one. There's some things to look forward to, I think, for a lot of Saints fans here. But one thing that I know folks aren't excited about, losing Julian Blackmon. How do the Saints replace him?
Yeah, I mean, injuries have been the name of the game for the last, what, 2 or 3 years, right? And people were really excited about Julian Blackmon, but they also have a really exciting young rookie in Jonas Sanker. And Justin Reed was saying he and Blackmon are still going to be there to be mentors. If people remember, Sanker had that interception against the Jaguars in preseason that, you know, kept the game a tie. So I think there's things to look forward to with him. Yeah,
he was definitely celebrated on the sidelines after that. We've seen some injuries again plaguing some folks. I know last week we were talking about Alontae Taylor, but he showed up big in the game with the that sack toward the end to kind of keep things going against the Cardinals. Anyone else, though, that we're looking at potentially that could be bit by the injury bug?
Well, I think on the positive side, Talia sat out part of last week's game with a knee injury, but he did come back to practice yesterday, which is huge because Trevor Penning is still out. The other one is Chase Young, hasn't practiced this week. I think that is a big injury, but on the other side, Cam Jordan had a great week last week, so we'll see if that continues.
Yeah, I know. Let's keep Cam going like that. That was awesome to see.
Yeah, it was fun.
Spencer Rattler gets the start. Still doesn't have a W under his belt yet as a starting quarterback. Going into it again, anything that you saw last week that kind of gives you some hope going forward?
Well, I've been talking to a lot of guys around the locker room about Rattler and his demeanor. Has it changed since last year? That was a tough year. And they said he's the same guy, maybe even better, more accountable. You know, he's taking leadership in practice. And I think when you talk to Rattler, you know, he did take accountability. He took accountability for that one sack. He said, you know, he just wants to continue to work on his accuracy. But, you know, he was really hyped up. And I think that, you know, looking at last week and how he ran that 2-minute drill, there's momentum for that to continue into this week.
Big time. I really loved what he said about Juwan there. You know, I'm throwing him that ball 1,000 times out of 1,000 times. You know, the confidence in his guys, seeing that, hearing it as a Saints fan, it does give you some hope that, you know, there might be a little bit more to this team than maybe people had thought, you know, in the offseason.
Yeah, and when you look at the 49ers, I think that there's kind of a level playing field. The Niners, you know, Brock Purdy is hurt. That means the Saints will probably be facing Mac Jones, which, as Cam Jordan pointed out this week, they did pretty well in that 34-0 win against the Patriots 2 years ago, and they sacked Mac Jones a couple of times. So I do think that on both sides, the injuries are kind of leveled out, and it'll be exciting to watch this game.
Sounds like the black and gold defense is going to be licking their chops. All right, so well, going forward then, the Saints, this is, again, the 49ers with Brock Purdy would be a team that would be tough. As you look forward through the rest of the season, if they can stay away from the injury bug even more, do you think they could rack up some more wins than people potentially expected they could?
I think the trouble is going to be the 2 games after this one. They have tough road games against the Seahawks. Seattle's a tough place to play, and at Buffalo, very tough place to play. But if they can get through that, if they can keep their confidence levels up, you know, they come back home, they play the Giants. I think they play a couple of teams that struggled in week 1. So there is hope, but, you know, these next 3 games are going to be huge. And, you know, they don't want to start 0-4, so, you know, we'll kind of see what they're made out of the next few weeks.
I was looking at stats. You know, I'm always looking at these stats. I think it was only, the Dolphins in the 70s that won a Super Bowl without a loss. So right now the Saints are on track for a black gold Super Bowl.
As Kellen Moore told them week 1, he said, all it means is that you're not going to go undefeated. You know, I like that positive way of looking at things.
Exactly.
I like it.
Let's keep it up. All right, thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
Appreciate it. All right, time now 9:45. All right, let's get out now live to outside federal court. Lucy.